All right. Hey guys, this is the Joy of Paintball, and today I have George Fava, who is kind of like a one-stop shop as far as media goes. Not only does he do amazing photography, which we'll talk about, he does amazing videography, which we'll talk about. He also does his own music occasionally. I don't, so we'll talk about that
I do.
too. Um, but mostly I want y'all to hear him talk. So this has kind of become so far like a paintball creatives podcast, and I'm
I
excited
like it.
about
I like
that.
it.
So I want to give all the creatives a chance to step onto the other side of the camera, so to speak. So
Mm.
I guess I could start
My
with
least favorite part.
yeah, yeah. If I gotta do it, you gotta do it. No.
Yeah.
All right, man. So welcome. Thank you so much for doing this. Um,
Oh, my pleasure.
yeah.
I don't get to do this very often, so I'm always happy to share whatever I can. Hopefully, insightful, and someone gets something useful out of it.
Yeah, yeah. So let's do a little. Let's start the typical way. We'll do a little history thing,
Cool.
and we'll start however you want to. If it's photography, videography
Sure.
study, or history, or paintball history, or
Yeah.
both. However, like what? How did those two come to be? I guess I should ask.
Yeah, so I mean, I took in high school once upon a time, like a just a standard film photo class, which was like the gateway into like, oh, this is cool. Like
Yeah,
you go out, you shoot a roll, and then we had a dark room, so you'd like develop it, and that was cool, like getting the whole like analog
yeah,
experience.
for sure.
But that was like that was like a junior in high school or something, and then didn't touch a camera till uh like 7 years later, maybe 8 years later. I mean, I've
Dang.
always kind of been around, like more so music, but like film photography, like didn't touch it for. It was just like, oh, this is cool, and then I just forgot about it.
Yeah.
Went to school for completely unrelated things. I have degrees in engineering, and then I was like, oh, like while I was working, I was like, oh, this is my buddy I worked with at the time, great guy. He was really into photography, and my other friend, sold me a like a Canon Rebel. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I was playing paintball again. I took a break. I played for a while, took a break, and then I moved to Virginia, got back into playing. And,
Nice.
in between like practicing, like playing points and stuff, you'd like, oh, I could go out and just shoot some pictures because literally no one was.
Yeah.
So it was like 2011, 12. It was kind of like a weird time, I think, for like photography
Yeah.
in the sport.
Did you say
Like,
and you were out
it
of Virginia? Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
Northern Virginia, like
Okay.
outside of DC. I played at Pebs. That was like the my home field
Yeah.
at that during that time. So, yeah, so like yeah, that's where it started. Like just shooting practices, like my friends, and then literally like a month of that, and I kind of like got the hang of it pretty quick. Like I had a decent eye for like like what I thought would like look good, and like obviously like I just kind of studied what other people were doing, and I would just go to the field and literally just try to recreate those shots. And I started like get the hang of it, and then started shooting like a couple like small like 3-man events, 5-man events. Did that for like a season, and then
Yeah.
I think like very quickly I just tried to like I wanted to shoot X ball because that was like the MPPL was like dying
Mm-hmm.
then. It was like on the way out, and I was like, oh, I want to shoot X ball. So I would drive like on a I work Monday through Friday, just a regular job. I think I was in grad school at the time, and like
Nice.
on the weekends I would just drive to whatever event. I would drive to toward like Philly, 3 hours, 3.5 hours on a Sunday. So it's like you're leaving their house at like 3 a.m. to drive to shoot like a a regional
Golly.
X ball,
Yeah.
and then you get home at like 10 o'clock, and then Monday through Friday is
Yeah.
work, grad school, edit photos, and then you just do it all over again. And but I really like doing it. So so that's what hooks me on the photo stuff. And then it was actually my sister. I have a twin sister. She actually went to film school.
Oh, cool.
She's like the real creative.
Yeah.
I'm just like
You're just
the
siphoning
knockoff.
off of her and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
nice.
But yeah, she how did that happen? Yeah, she was shooting a wedding in somewhere in Maryland, and was like, oh, I could use a second shooter. And she's like, do you want to shoot video? And I was like, oh, I've never shot video ever, like
Yeah.
on a DSLR. So I was like, she was like, oh, it's fine. I'll show you everything you need. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I shot one. It was okay. We had a good time. And then the next year, I think I shot like 2 more with her. And then at that same time, I was like, just my work was, the place I was working it was fine. It was a great place, but it was just in this weird transition state. And I was kind of like, I'd finished grad school and I had this like weird early midlife crisis of like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
And, you know, like most people would be like, oh, well, you know, you have like advanced degrees, like you have a good job in a good area. Like, yeah, you're good.
That's
like
what you're doing. Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
You
This is
are
what you're doing.
it,
And
yeah.
I was, yeah. And I was like, no, this
Yeah.
is stupid. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I felt like I was like, you know, I was just like, I saw that like, oh, I'm going to be stuck in this forever.
Mhm.
And then my sister had this, she wanted to hire someone, but like couldn't find the right person because she was doing mostly a lot of destination, like weddings and stuff.
Yeah.
And it just kind of worked out. Like, I was like, I want to get out of what I'm doing. Cause I was also, I think I was only like 27 at the time.
Nice. Yeah.
And I was like, whatever, if it doesn't work, I can always fall back on, you know, engineering and that was like 8 years ago or something. So I just haven't gone back. So it's been working out.
Nice. Yeah.
I mean, you know, but yeah, so that's the long, the long answer to your
Dude.
question.
Man, like that's I don't know how to dive into that. So engineering, like
Yeah.
what kind of engineering? Just wondering.
So it was electrical engineering,
Okay.
but it was so it's kind of like I've been on this weird like sort of creative, like, so before that, while I was in school, like getting my undergrad, I was playing in bands a lot. So I was really into music and I wanted to be a musician, and my parents were like, don't do that because you can't make a living. And I was like, you know, I was young, so I was like, okay, I guess I can't do
Yeah.
it. So I was like, oh, I guess what can I do? So I found I forget, I had a professor there that he said something about like, oh, you know, this is how you make, like basically guitar amps and guitar pedals are basically just like they're electronic circuits,
Yeah.
but like that's how you make them by designing circuits to do that. And I was like, you can use engineering to make like music stuff. And so so I wanted to go down that road.
That's cool. That's a good professor.
Yeah.
That's-
So, cause I was like, oh, I can do like a creative thing with like music and engineering. And I almost put the pieces together. Like I had an interview with like a company out in California that was doing, like digital amp modeling,
Mhm.
but like, it just didn't, you know, it was like, yeah, we'll interview, but like, we're definitely not going to hire you kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I ended up a completely different industry and, you know,
Yeah.
and yeah, long story short.
Okay. Okay.
So I've always kind of been in and out of like art through
Man.
music, and that's kind of what got me into that. So.
Tell me about that transition, because I think about it from like what sounds like security,
Yeah.
like job
Yep.
security, and like just sort of like the the American dream, like yeah, I can, everything's
Totally.
taken care of. To I
I'm
guess
gonna blow it up.
to not just paintball photography, probably. But I'm assuming like wedding and event and venue, like whatever photography. but
Yeah,
just, like,
yeah,
freelance.
yeah.
Tell me about that transition going from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I definitely had an easier go of it than most, just because like it wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this on my own and like
Yeah.
start from scratch and like make a wedding business or you know, that was like, that's still a really good way to like get your foot in the door
Mhm.
if you want to like just get into creative, you know, like you're like, I want to work for myself, like just start shooting weddings, like
Yeah.
you know, the sky's the limit with that, like you can go nuts. But yeah, like I it really helped that my sister had been, like I said, she went to film school and then she had a wedding, you know, business. She also did like commercial video projects, but I think she had been doing it for about 5 years at that point, like solo with like her husband helped a little, and then she was like kind of in and out of second shooters. But yeah,
Sorry,
like that.
Second shooters. What is that?
Oh yeah. So yeah. So like typically when you shoot like a wedding, some people photo or video, like if you do photography or video, like some people will shoot it all by themselves, which
Gotcha.
is kind of
Okay.
like nuts. Yeah,
Yeah.
she would either, like her husband worked with her for I forget, like maybe 2 years. And then like after that, she just needed a second person to help her film. Because there's like times in the day where you're splitting up and like you can do it all yourself, but it's like it's just easier to have a second person. It makes your life way better.
Yeah.
So yeah, so for me, like it kind of was like cheating in some respects because like she already had a business with like I knew what I was getting into, but I also was leaving like a really good job in a very stable industry to just basically be like, I'm gonna roll the dice and like see what happens. Yeah. So but I mean, to some extent, like I thought I knew what I was doing when I did that, and like I think I made the right decision because like it wasn't really like my thing. Like engineering was like it was cool, but like I was never like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah, definitely some fish out of water vibes, but
nice, man.
But yeah, so yeah, like I think if I had to like start like branch out on my own, I probably wouldn't have like I mean I would have tried, like I definitely, because I was doing paintball like on the weekends. But again, like getting time off to go to like 5 national events a year is like, I mean, it's impossible. Like it's just so hard to do with like a full-time job. But yeah, so okay. Like I said, so kind of hit the easy button there.
No, I don't think so. I think it's still like that's going from security to
I mean, like
a freelance job that's
and I mean I was in school at that point for like I think like 8 or 9 years, like undergrad, grad school, working, like Dang. So it was like almost a decade of like stuff that I was like, we're just gonna try something else, totally different.
I'm sure,
and I left,
I'm sure you gleaned like problem solving skills or something from engineering that crosses over.
Totally, yeah. It's you. It is a really like useful, just like I don't know, like skill set to have, like problem solving, critical thinking, and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely like way different than like like I don't have a my sister went to like actual film school and like studied like art and like I didn't do any of that. So I definitely miss some of that, which definitely shows in how I probably approach projects and film. Like I don't take in a lot of art. Like I take in some, but it's like very like
I think
tiny bit.
So I'm trying to stay linear in like my thinking, but well, on that we'll just say on that. So like I had questions written down, and I remember one of them was are you a dancer? And the reason I asked this, and I think it's musical, but when I watch your videos, especially the more current ones, I think they're ghost sports. But the synchronization of physicality with musicality and just everything in your videos, it is almost like an abstract storytelling. And it's
I'm not actually a dancer at all.
I didn't think so, but I just
but yeah, I mean you're very close. Like I think and my sister had this because we both grew up kind of playing instruments and stuff as a like very young kids, and I still play a bit, but I think having that musical background, like when I hear songs, like the way I like pick music out for anything I'm doing, even if it's like a 60-second like little short ad or whatever, like I'm always like very critical of like what am I using, and like like you said, like getting it certain things to like sync up, and like I'm very into like the music audio of the video side of things, for sure. Yeah.
So is it when you're editing, is it music first, or like what goes on the timeline first?
Typically for me, it starts with like, if I guess it depends on the project first, but like if it's like strictly like a a music video, like there's no like real audio, like dialogue or anything, then like it's all like the song is everything.
Yeah.
But if it's like a like there's like interviews and all kinds of like story driven stuff. Definitely I start with like the story and like piecing that together, and then it's like kind of finding the music to kind of drive home what emotion or tone or whatever you're trying to get.
Yeah.
So but that's for me, that's before any, like I'll kind of like look through all my footage and like kind of like, okay, like I in my back, because it's this weird, editing is like this weird it's like, it's like any art project where you have to get like really stuck in, and like you have all these ideas swirling in your head, and like it's like it's overwhelming at first, but like you just like you need all the information in there, just your brain to kind of like piece things together. For a lot of the projects I do, because they're just so long that like, I can't sit down in a day and knock out like a 20-minute film. That's like weeks of work. Now there are some projects I'll do where like I'll sit down. There was one I put out earlier I think it was like March last year after the first event. I mean, it was just like basically a music video, but like I did that in like an afternoon. I sat down and it was just like everything just fell into place. Nice. Like I had all the footage, I had the song, and I was just like, okay. And it's okay. I mean, watching it back, I'm like, yeah, it's okay, but it could be better. But,
everyone's like that. That's
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh gosh. So on the music, your earlier, not your earliest, we'll talk about that, but your earlier stuff with I'm pretty sure these were mostly Planet or PB Nation. I can't remember. I lost my notes, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, PB Nation was where I definitely like, that was like, because I knew John Dresser a little bit, so like his platform was, because I got him with him before Planet, so
gotcha.
and John was always like, yeah, if you ever have anything, like we'll take it, like like, because they didn't pay for anything, but I was like, I just want to go somewhere.
Yeah, you want people to see it.
I want people to see it.
Yeah, hard drive somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah.
So on those earlier ones where you're the music provider, like you made the music, was that you had songs already created, or said I want an aggressive song, or was it like I have this footage? I think so. Let me see. So there was the first project I did with my own music was I went to Temple University in Philly, and the guys I knew, they had an NCPA team. It's just like, I'm so sad because like the year it started, it was like 2005 or 6 maybe. I was like a freshman at Temple, and I was like, I could have played on like, and I just like, we could have played each other, man.
I know.
I did. I played for North Texas.
What team? North Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we would have played.
What years did you play with them?
When did I graduate? 2010, 2009.
We definitely would have played each other. Yeah. Yep. Because NCPA was cool, because I think you could, like, as long as you were a student, you could just play. Yeah. Like, it wasn't like, oh, you get 4 years and that's it. Like, you're like, oh, you're in school for 8 years? Have fun.
Yeah.
Like,
so
anyways, they reached out to me, and they were like, oh, do you want to make us like a film? And I was like, yeah, that would be cool. So for that project, I made my own music for all of that. And like, some of it's okay, some of it's like not very good, but that was like was that 2015, I think, maybe 15 or 16, I don't know. So like, music licensing was like kind of still in like this wild west of like, they didn't really have there were some licensing sites, but like you could kind of use, they just wanted to have the rights to it. So I was like, I'll just make it to keep it simple. So like, some of those I had, some of them I made up for it, but like the other stuff, like Planet, like I made a couple of the early ones, and those were sometimes like I would have like, and I have on my phone, like I have like a little one of the sound recorder apps. I'll like every now and then I'll sit down and I'll have like a riff or something, and I'll be like, oh, this could work, and then I'll just do it. But it's just tough because I don't make as much music for projects anymore, just because it's so, for me, it's so like intensive. Like, it takes me a while to come up with something I really like. Yeah. And then till I like record it and mix it, or like roughly mix it. I'm not like that's like my weakest link, is like actually like mixing and like making it sound like very good. Yeah. But like, you go through all that, and then you spend like 3 days on it, and then you're like, it's okay. It doesn't really work that well. And then you're like, well, I just wasted 3 days, and
Yeah, that's
some things have a tight deadline, so you're like, I just can't do that.
yeah, yeah.
Which sucks, but that's life. I don't know, but
The ones you put out
I
there
do like when
were
I
solid. Like they complemented
yeah,
it well
thanks.
and fit well.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, there's some good ones for sure. Some duds, but
Nah,
that's like anything.
so that temple one, I was going through your YouTube channel, and I saw your early stuff.
Oh dear.
Like I was like, let's start with the oldest and go down.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I saw your 3-man and a lot of stuff that had like a kind of a PB Star vibe, which was just like flat documenting these people are going on. And I think that temple video, I think, is the shift where it was like, holy shit, this guy, like like there were some, I didn't watch a whole bunch of the early ones, but like on the temple one is when the like editing really came into play and all of that. So is that when you started working with your sister and you were like,
it is.
Okay,
yeah, it was I forget exactly how that whole project came, but like that was like good eye, like putting all that, because before that it was like I was sort of just like I would film like raw footage at like practices and stuff, and just to more or less get like just get like the basics of like shooting and like try to figure out what I wanted to do, and then and then that was like the first project where I really figured out like, okay, well, what am I gonna do with this? And
knocked it out of the park, dude. That was like the story and everything.
It was good. It's funny watching it now because it's like some of those guys are like, they're so old and they're like doctors. Some of them are doctors and stuff. And you're like, oh, it's so weird. But and Matty Marshall's in there. Like we just wrangled him from the NCPA. Broadcast. The one dude knew him and he was like, yeah, sure, I'll talk. And it's like, oh, that's cool.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I gotta, if you guys like, you need to go to George's channel. It's just Fava Photography, right? So Fava Photography.
Yeah, I think
if I remember, if I'm on my A game, which so far, but I'll put that link. I'll just link it in this video, like in the comments.
Cool.
But y'all need to go check out that temple one, and you need to go like capturing the end. I don't want to spoil it. Like,
yes,
it's a cool story. Capturing the end, it was very like impactful, and the fact that you caught that, and like this transient moment. Like I tell people all the time about, I love just the idea of transient moments, but I tell people about seeing a band called Dance Gavin Dance, and it's I don't know what you would, this like eclectic hardcore pop type, but they like, I was seeing them and there was like a thunderstorm in the background, and I see the singer, like they kind of were in between songs, and this breeze comes by and I see the singer just sort of like stop and just like soak it in, and lightning goes off in the background, and I'm like, that was a moment. He had that moment and I witnessed that moment. That's cool. And there's a scene, so all that to say, in this moment where this cool emotional like climax of the movie is like you were capturing that moment, and like that kind of that rings true through your film and through your photography of like, just like, bravo, dude, you capture these moments that like honestly are iconic. So I know that was a lot.
Well, thank you.
But I want to transition to your photography, because I'll throw your website in here too. The photography, if you go to the curated, I believe that's what it's called, but the curated
it's like
photos.
the curated photos, I think.
And I'm going through and I'm like, dude, I forgot about this shot. I'm sorry. And this is amazing. And like I mean, you have probably the best capture of when Mouse headbutted Rainey. And like,
Texas 2019.
And like everything. And I'm looking through and I'm just like, I don't know how you are so good at these things. Because I've tried photography. I've tried videography. I'm okay at those. I haven't tried music and whatever. Like, you're kind of like,
you should.
like some people say, you know, that jack of all trades, master of none. Let's just say, let's take that second part off. Like, jack of all trades, dude. Like, the photography, I gotta say it. Like, when I look through those curated shots, they're amazing. They're iconic moments in our sport, but they're also like how you've managed to capture so much energy and like passion in a like still serene moment. Like that, those words shouldn't go together. But you've done that. So like I feel like that's your style, dude. So I guess
thank you.
Thank you, man. I think that's what I'm getting at is like
no, you're right. I mean, that's, and yeah, you've really summed up like a lot of, that's kind of like my, I guess like my trademark MO for like basically all photo and video, like definitely more photo because that's where I spent, well, I probably spent equal time now, but when I first started shooting, my buddy who I used to work with, he like sort of ingrained in me always like, you really have to like curate your work. Like you can take like a million photos or whatever, but like there's always like I think like what really separates people like photo and video, or people in particular, is like it's like you can take like, especially nowadays, like you could take like 20,000 photos a day if you wanted to, but like you need to know how to like pick out, and like obviously like there's other things that go into this, like how you like read players, and like I've watched enough players now, like I know when people are going to make certain moves and do certain things, and like I know how to get set up for those things so I can like give myself the best chance to get something. So I'm there, but like going back and like the editing is like, and that's what that curated section's all about, is like like a lot of times like I'm just you're taking photos to take photos, and like yeah, like there's a good action photo or whatever, but like I mean I'll go to events now, or I always have, and like I'll leave an event with like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 like okay, those are really good photos of like 3 days of shooting. Like you might get one really good thing like a day if you're lucky. Like for me like yeah, like you can get like a good nice in focus whatever action shot, but like those event kind of photos, like those are like, I mean you hope to get one. Like I've been to events where I'm like, I didn't get anything good that whole weekend. Like it was like good stuff, but not like like the stuff that you're like you want to put up on your
favorites or whatever.
Yeah. And sometimes that happens, but I've always for the way I shoot, like this sport is so like, it's so like emotional and intense, and like there's all these like crazy moments, and like there's so much happening, and like I just want to make it look cool, and like and capture the good stuff, and I only want to show like I'm always like, especially for the photos, like videos it's harder nowadays, but like photos like I was always like every day, like I was just like I'm putting out like like a great shot like every single day, like because I'm just gonna like dig through all my photos, and like I'm gonna put up like, because there was like 4 years in a row, maybe 5 years, where I literally posted every single day on Instagram, like nonstop, like not like multiple times, but like one photo a day for like 7 days a week for like, I mean that was at least like 3 years straight, and I would, and that was the thing, you'd go to an event, and like yeah, like not everything you post is going to be amazing, but like I always was like, okay, I'm not going to post like just like a just a boring thing. Like I want like someone to see it and be like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. Because you never know who sees it. I don't know. Like I just want to make it look cool. That's it. Yeah. That's all. No. That's like my goal. So
you've done well. No, I look at it and I think like the most like distinctive like aesthetic as far as photography goes, I mean, which is what we have. Like, I struggle to think of someone who has something more distinctive of a voice than yours. So well done.
I do love Trevor Will.
That's right. Yeah.
Dude, that guy is my favorite.
Yeah.
Dude, he comes out of the woodwork. He'll go to like one event a year, and he'll just be like, here's magic, and then just leave us and go make music.
Yeah. Gosh.
That dude's wild.
That was kind of like one of the big like validation moments for me. He reached out for like his last issue. That's not Trevor Will. Who am I thinking
Brad.
Brad.
Was it Brad? Brad
Mix those
Baldwin
up. Yeah, yeah,
from Inside the Net.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, but Brad's stuff's great.
Yeah.
I love
His
Brad's
stuff's
work.
great. Trevor's is great too. Like, there are a lot of great
Yeah.
photographers. I didn't like those of you listening. I'm not like there are a lot of really good photographers. I look at it and I think you know it like I don't see much influence from anyone else in the sport on you. Like you've established your own style, from what I can tell. But I'm interested. If do you feel like you've sort of pulled from other people?
I mean, definitely when I was starting, because no one around me was shooting at all, really. Like at practices, like nothing. And so I when I wanted to learn, like I was like, who's taking like great photos? Like I just want to see good work because I wanted to replicate it to try to make my own style. And on PB Nation, it's still there. You can go find it in the photography forum. There's the photo mob.
Oh, okay.
Just go back to the photo mob. Now the links are probably dead because they're like like 15 years old, 20 years. I have no idea. But man, like, and some of that stuff in there is just like, wow. Like Matt Dawson, R.I.P. He was a phenomenal photographer. He passed away like a while ago. I never knew him, but his work is incredible. I'll send you some of his. He did a few like, and his work's really hard to find because he he passed away and like it's just. I don't know. It's on a hard drive somewhere. Maybe he doesn't have a website. There's like 3 digital. He did kind of like what you did with the zines. He would do like event recap things where he'd have like interviews and he'd interview players and like do all this cool like stuff. And his work is like his photos are so good. And I was just like, wow, that's where I want to be. So definitely like his stuff stood out to me probably like the most. But yeah, like photo mob, like that's where but then after that it's like, and I'm still kind of like this to this day where like I have like my early influences, like people that I sort of like for video, obviously Cassidy Sanders is like, I mean,
he's
like the greatest.
I can see that in your video. I do think you have cool more I think there's like Easter eggs in your transitions. Which
I'm trying to do my best Cassidy impersonation, man. His when it comes to that style of like that highlight edit, like his are just,
they're great.
I mean, anyone will tell you, hands down. Like he created the style. His shot, some of his. If you go and watch almost any of his films, like PSP, Dallas 2015, Huntington Beach, I think 12 maybe, like World Cup, any video, just pick one. Like every shot he puts in there is like, there's just no filler. It's all like, oh my God, what was that? And then you go back and you'll watch it again and again and again. And some of that is like, I mean, not to take anything away from him because he's an incredible filmer. But like some of that style, that era of like, the late 2000s, early teens, NPPL, like PSP, like it was just like a different time. Like, dude, like Fedorov's like jumping over lanes and there's like 15 balls per second. Like that aggression and like movement, it doesn't quite exist anymore at the pro, which is a shame. But like, so there's like stuff you would capture then that like, maybe it's like, it would happen more often. Like now you'd like never see, or like it's so rare. And that's not to take anything away from Cassidy. It's just like, the stuff he captures is phenomenal. His shot, the way he like sets up his shots is just like PSP Dallas 2015. I'm just saying, go watch that video. It's like the Mud Fest. It's the last PSP event. It's insane. Like
I think
the way it starts with Bart's like screaming at Impact because he's coaching them still. And Bart just goes nuts on them for like first like 10 seconds and then it's so good. It's all the shots in that are so good.
I gotta check.
I love that video.
Dang, man.
Yeah. But anyways, yes. Sorry, long answer. But yes, there are definitely some people who have influenced me. But like, I don't know. Like, I feel like that's like anything. It's like once you get like you need something. I mean, most people probably need something like I did to just get you started,
Mm-hmm.
to just see like, oh, what do I like and how do I, adapt that. And then once you kind of figure out what works for you, which obviously that takes time, and that's like just time and reps of like,
Yeah.
creating and hating it, and then being like, oh, I like that, and then trying to recreate that and then get better and then improve. And like, at a certain point you just like, you develop your own style or what you like to see. And, I've, that's kind of like where I'm at now. It's just like, I just try to make the things that I make stuff that like, or like photos, videos, whatever. I want to watch it.
Yeah.
And, I don't always hit the mark. Like there's times where I'm like, that could be better. I could have done a better job. And like, that's just, the critical,
Yeah.
Artist
Yeah.
in me
Yeah.
or whatever, just wanting to do better. But, it's like you have to, it's like anything. You just have to try. You have to care, and like, and hopefully, people will feel that. Dude, the grand finale, I'm very excited. The Hormesis.
I can't wait, dude. Cannot
Dude,
wait.
I'm very excited. That turned out is so cool. I it's kind of weird. Like people are probably gonna be like, because I only edited like the first. We did like sort of like the prelims of like, because they had the top 8 guys.
Mm-hmm.
And we did like, I just did like the first round because it was insane. They played, you went to the one in Texas, right?
Yeah.
At Fit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you saw it.
Yeah.
Like it's so much paintball,
It really
right?
is. Yeah. I don't know
Like,
how Ollie had
did
a
you-
voice by the end of it. Like, just.
You went to did you go to the joust or did you go to the duel?
The duel.
The duel.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Dude, the guys played best, it was like best 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
So like,
I thought that was
dude,
a lot.
like
Yeah.
two of the rounds, they had to play 3 20-minute matches, race to 10, win by 2, like so much paintball.
Yeah.
And then after that it goes to, but anyways,
Yeah.
I edited like the first like prelims of those best 2 out of 3, and it's like, dude, it's like a 25-minute. It's cool. It's really cool. The guys, Miko and Ali, they watched it. They really liked it. So hopefully,
That's
they really
cool.
liked it.
That's super cool. Nico, like that's. I hope
Yeah.
that was like a cool like feeling.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Ollie's got his aesthetic that he's a visionary. Like he can really
Mhm.
like see and decide like I want this to be a
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
so I'll do that. And then Nico is super talented
Yeah.
videographer. So
Yeah.
that's cool to get that nod from them, man. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, because I was just kind of in the dark, like putting this thing together, like I it's for Go Sports, but it's
Yeah.
like Hormesis
Yeah.
wanted them to put it together, and I was just like, here's what we're trying to do with it, just make it happen, and in a very short time period.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so I just went into a hole and just edited nonstop, and like and I think it like it's cool, like and Ollie was like, we were talking afterwards after he saw it, and it's just like it's cool because it's like he's like, yeah, it like kind of captures like what he really sees in the format. And like I listened to, he did a podcast before that event with, I think it was like maybe it was the Play the Game one.
Okay.
But he just talks about like his vision for the format and like why he's so, it's not like they're just doing this to like make money and like
Yeah.
great, like they're like, I'm
can't-
sure they are, but they're
You
like
think?
I mean, I'm sure on some level, like maybe they're like, I mean, they don't need it, and like they're probably doing perfectly fine
Yeah.
with whatever. But like the fact that they're like I feel like most paintball companies, if they had a brand like Hormesis, they launched these things and they just blew up, they'd be like, cool, we're just gonna sit on this money. And
Yeah.
but like they're just reinvesting it back
Oh,
to
yeah.
like the community, and like they give stuff away to like new players.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
like it's so like the fact that and this format is like an extension of that with
Yeah.
like they just want to like give and grow and like see the sport, like because they spent their lives like playing this game, and they want to like not in a selfish way, they just want it
Yeah.
to be bigger, and it should be like. So I love what they're doing. It's a great
Yeah.
it's a great
I'm-
brand, a mission, everything.
Yeah. I'm trying to think they are going politely against the grain. Like, you know, like
Yeah.
I feel like if anyone else tried it, like if like they would not have the support from the rest of the industry. I don't
Yeah.
think, you know, like
Yeah.
if even if oh gosh, his name's escaping me. Old after aftermath coach Hinman. Like if Hinman tried it,
Hinman. Yeah.
like I don't know, like I feel like he seems to be a pretty like, you know,
Yeah.
brass tacks guy, and I feel like the rest of the
Yeah, I think
industry would be like, see ya, but
yeah,
these
it's
guys
definitely like
built a
yeah,
culture
it's
that
a
is like next level. So yeah,
well, I think it's like people there's just something magical I think about, you know, what Dynasty has done and like people just want to be a part of it. Like
yeah,
it's just
and they're
like
letting us be. That's the
dude,
cool
I
thing.
know. And like they don't have to. They could literally have put out these headbands, made a gajillion dollars or whatever, and then just been like, cool, I'm gonna just live in Ollie's like I live in, you know, wherever he lives in Bali or something. He's like, I don't need to come back. Why do I need to come back? Like we're making these products. I don't need to come back and see paintball. Like thanks for the money, bot. Like no, like they're like they grew up like playing this game, and like it's cool that they span like, you know, decades. Like there's people that like, you know, were like teenagers when they were, and now they're like now they have kids and their kids are watching them play, like still winning events.
People's kids are named after them. Like that's
it's crazy.
Yeah man. Oh, those guys.
But yeah,
they're cool. I can't wait to see it, dude. I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, it is. It should be good.
Well, dude, you said something that just sort of racked my brain. This has very little to
Sorry.
do. No, you were talking about Matt Dawson, and you're like, that's probably on a hard drive somewhere. And it's just like, that. I think about like Van Gogh had some hotel or restaurant somewhere had like several of his sketchbooks just tucked in a cubby hole somewhere on accident. Wow. They just thought it was trash. But like these hard drive, like these, you think about like all these people that, you know, there's probably just I don't even know what's above a terabyte, like, but
petabyte maybe.
Sure.
I think it was petabyte. I don't know.
That's an unfortunate.
I think
petabyte.
Sorry.
No,
I think it is. I'll Google that. No, but I think it is.
But like, just
I could be wrong.
Thousands of terabytes of like, amazing art. Just probably like, I don't know. That'll be cool to see. Like, for our next generations to like revive.
Yeah.
Those things.
Well, and it's a weird thing too with like, you know, like I appreciate what video, like the explosion of reels and all that stuff has done for, you know, just the sport in general. I'm sure it's like a lot of people are probably seeing it maybe for the first time because of that.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you know, it's a weird thing where like, me personally, like I don't know. I'm biased, but like I just like I think the photos for me, I think just hold more like long-term value. Like I don't know. I just have a hard time thinking like, oh, like in 10 years from now, I'm going to be like, oh, let me see that sick reel of whatever. Like it's still going to be sick, but like, I don't know that it's going to have the same power that, and this will probably age poorly, this comment, but like, this is like, I sound like a fossil, but like, it's just like, I don't know, like dude, 20 years, like a sick photo is a sick photo, period. Like you could look at it. It doesn't matter how old it is, but like, I just don't, especially, I think maybe it has to do with like the verticalness of like, the short clips, like it's, itself. Yeah, like it's like because you're so limited or restricted to what you can show, and like I think that's why I never liked vertical. I still don't like it. Like I get we have to do it because phones or whatever, but like it kills unless I don't know. And I mean any person that makes lots of reels is gonna just poop all over me right now for this, but I don't know.
But I think like reels are, I think in. I don't know. I'll apologize if I'm wrong about this. But I feel like Rye Guy and Verbal they do the reels, but they're playing the game. in a sense.
Yeah,
Like, they're
yeah.
still getting dope like captures. Like they're getting
Oh, for
really
sure.
cool
Yeah,
stuff.
they are.
But they're like, okay, this will go well on whatever day or what, I don't know, but like to to
Yeah.
to make the
Well, and
money, and
it's
they're playing the game, which
yeah,
respect. But
right. Well, like yeah, it's definitely it's helped. I don't know. I think it's helped that like there's not a lot of money in video, like vertical videos anymore. Like Instagram's shut the faucet off for now, and like
okay,
Facebook, I think you can still get some money. So like a lot of people are just transitioning over to YouTube, which is kind of funny because like YouTube's going to pay you to make like long form content. Like
hmm,
you can get a lot of like, I guess you can get a lot of like followers through posting like the shorts, which is their
yeah,
reels. But like, will that translate to like views? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe it will, but like, I don't know. Maybe it won't. Time will tell, I
yeah.
guess. But I don't think like the vertical stuff will age well. I just like I don't think it might not age well. I just don't think it's gonna hold up the way that like I don't know.
I've seen there's one artist that
I don't
comes to
know.
mind that he's done video, but he's a fine artist, so it's kind of like it's like a painting within
Yeah,
a video, and his name escapes me.
you'll have to send it to me.
Yeah, I'll think of it.
I
But
would like that's so
he does cool stuff. But I think the thing that, and we're I know I personally am getting there, but I've always kind of been like this, and I think that's probably why your videos and your photography like stands out to me, is like there's room to breathe visually, if that makes sense. So like you
yeah.
kind of embrace, I don't know if it's the proper term, but dead space, or not
hmm
negative space, but like just
Yeah,
it's not
in the
it's
comp
go ahead. Sorry.
in the composition you mean
Mm-hmm.
yeah like
Like
there's
there's
just like yeah I think maybe that's what bugs me about the vertical stuff is like there's no real room for like like with photo like you're like oh I can frame things like I could frame it like dead center or like lower third or like I could leave
mhm.
all this negative space and like with vertical like yes you could do that I guess but it just doesn't have I don't think it has the same impact and like
But also like who
it,
shoots in vertical? I feel like most of what I see is someone that's just adapting.
they're just I mean some people do but like I like every now and then I'll see someone out there like
Mhm.
shooting like I mean and this is again like very like niche like just about paintball like um and other things
Yeah.
people are shooting lots of vertical stuff but like yeah for us I'm just like I would hate to shoot like vertical stuff just because like in 5 years if it goes away or is not cool like you're gonna be stuck with all this vertical footage. Like what are you gonna do? You could still make it work because it's just gonna
Yeah.
be harder to do something
Yeah.
cool with
It's
but
not like bell bottoms. They don't like rot and go away. It's you're stuck with it forever.
you're just stuck with it. Yeah,
Not like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I can't wait for someone to blast me over all these
No,
comments
no.
on
To
vertical.
my
But
lit.
this is, well, I think this for me this is like kind of it's like therapy. I'm like, in getting into my psyche here of like I don't really, and I've always been this way. Like I don't really take in a lot of art, like all kinds of stuff, like music, photo, like actual like physical paintings. Like I take in like a very 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 tiny amount, and I'm kind of the same way on like social. Like I don't really watch like I follow like as many people as I can, and like I see stuff, but like I'm not like I don't spend like an hour or two
Yeah,
hours a day. Like
that's. I mean,
like I don't and I don't really want to take in too much stuff because like I don't want to be like influenced by too much like and this isn't to sound like elitist or like oh I don't want it to like affect my style but like I just don't like I don't want to like I don't want to like go down like the trendy like I don't want to see
yeah,
like because there's like that's a lot of like social media like vertical stuff is like it's all very like trendy and like it all
yeah.
looks the same not doesn't look the same but like the same styles and I just don't want to get sucked into that like I just want to stay in my box and
Hmm.
make my things that I make and
I will say,
you know
I think if you go to a museum, you're safe. If you, but yeah, yeah, I get that. Like, you kind of want. It's almost like a diet. Like, you take in a lot of
yeah
junk food, you're gonna you're gonna feel like you just ate a bunch of junk food. So if you I don't know,
but it's hard because like you gotta take something in, right? Like, because otherwise you just starve yourself creatively, right? But like, how do you determine what is worth without taking in like lots of stuff? You know, like how do you decide what to let in to like? Yeah, because like everything you see will influence you. Like, it's
for sure.
It's hard. I don't know. When you're an artist, you paint and you draw. Like, how do you process your? I
steal a bunch of stuff, so it's in a sense I do. I don't. I try not to. Like, just directly copy something, but I think I definitely like am influenced by a lot of folks. I think it's changed to like deciding who is. I have some peers. And we all have stuff that we're kind of like we'll get excited about, and and we're honestly we're all kind of different. Like we're all for the most part painters, but we all are different, and it's fun to like sort of talk back and forth. Like there's artists that I like that most people would not. It's like music, like
totally.
Most people would. I kind of look like long hair. I guess classifies you as a music guy, but. Like they I don't know, people ask me like my favorite song and I'll say it's not a favorite because I can't remember the name, but Glenn Miller, this like crooner like something like I just love that type of music and people don't expect that. And the same with art, like it's not so much that it has to match the way I look or the way I express myself. It just something about it speaks to you. So I found the artist's name. Bill Viola. Bill Viola. He is a fine artist, but he does film, and I'm asking you to go check him out. Not to be influenced, but just to on Instagram? Experience it. Honestly, so you might like this. It's hard to find his footage because he's a video artist. Okay. A lot of it is like kind of hard to find. There's some of it on YouTube. But it's
Bill Viola. Yeah, you're gonna have to like send me that because I will struggling to find find it. But that's that's cool. Like I do like I said, I do a really poor job of taking in like stuff.
But it's also it's a subjective thing. Like I'm sure you take things in that influence. You take in like Cassidy, like take in his stuff,
right.
Well, you take in...
but and I've kind of always been this way though with like my music collection is like it is it's definitely stuck in an era of like late 90s to like to late 2000s. Okay. And then like there's some like that's like the vast majority of like. And then, but then there's like, I mean, I listen to a lot of stuff, but like, it's like trickles, of like things that'll come in. But like when I find something I like, I just get like hyper fixated on it, and then I'm just like, that's it. I'm just gonna listen to this band for the next like 3 weeks, and that's it.
Did you catch?
And I
go ahead.
No.
So, did you catch the Dan Napoli episode that I did?
I started it. I need to go back. And actually finish it.
He talks about vinyl at some point, and we talk about like curating albums and like how, he's way more well versed in this than I am. But he's like, vinyl was probably the highlight because, you had to have bangers on both sides, and not just at the beginning of both sides. So they really curated it. Do you listen to artists like straight through, or are you a playlist kind of guy?
No, I do like straight through. Like I like to find, and I think that's maybe why I'm so picky with artists is like if I get a song or two in, I'm like, nah, like I don't like typically just save like one like track. I'll be like, oh, I love that one song by that one band. Oh no, it's like I'm like I want the full album, and if the full album like if it hits, and I'm in. Actually, I just found this one like literally yesterday about this band. I think it was like what is it? I got to get the name right because like it's very. I haven't heard of them before, and you'll be like, oh yeah,
No, I'm pretty stuck in my ways.
where did they? I think I saved it. Tokyo Police Club. That's the band.
I am gonna write it down. I want to check it out.
The album is it Breakneck Speed? Is that the? Hold on. I'm so bad. I'm just like, oh, the album's Champ, but that band is Tokyo Police Club, 2009. I don't even know how to describe it, but like it's very cool. I was just like, where has this been all of my life? In 2009, that is not new by any means.
No, but 2010 was an interesting time.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
Music in that late 2000s, early teens to like 2014, 15. Like there's so many albums in there that I'm like, there's like lots of one-offs that I'm like, oh, I love this album. I love this album.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, it's just been like, for me, it's just been like a trickle just because I don't go like hunting for a ton of new stuff, but
I kind of like rely on people for that. Like I love talking about music with people just to find these things. Like I'm excited to check these guys out.
Yeah, I maybe you'll like them, maybe you won't.
We'll
I don't
see.
know.
The name sounds familiar, but they're all it's three very common
this could be
words.
me recommending like like have you heard of this band called Aerosmith? Like I just like some like everyone's like yeah of course we've heard of them. Like why would you not like okay grandpa.
Dude, no.
I have this problem. So
I teach high school.
Apologies
so
to anyone.
I have
okay.
students who like will wear shirts, and I don't care that they wear it, but they'll wear like Wu-Tang shirts, and I'm like, you don't know them.
Okay.
You don't like,
you don't know them.
Cool. I don't know them, but I know you don't. So whatever. Or they'll be like, hey, Mr. Riddle, have you heard of Metallica? Go away. Like,
just get out of here.
Like,
go on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you bought the shirt at Urban Outfitters, yes, I've heard of them. Like it's anyway.
Oh man, that must be a trip.
It's
yeah.
Oh yeah. They're there. They're students. They're good. They're cool.
That's cool.
Okay, man. I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Yeah.
Do you got time for a few more like questions?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Plenty of time. So I guess we talked about art. Do you let's switch this to photography because I know you did.
Sure.
I don't know how many photos they showed you in high school or wherever, but do you remember a photo that you were like, whoa, this has got mentioned? I know. So, or an artist. It doesn't have to be a photo, but like, or an art piece.
Man, yeah, like I know this is like one of those like I know there's gonna be an obvious one like once I like I'll be like but the one like I think you prompted me about this like whenever like a week or two ago, and I was like I really need to like think about that because like I said like taking in stuff is like especially like art is like I took in a ton of music as a kid, like that was like my primary thing. Yeah. It could be, I mean, like an album cover or something too. Like. Well, so like with art, there was this guy. There is this guy, not was. He's still living. He's an Icelandic artist. I'm not even going to pronounce his last name. His first name is Ragnar. But he has this. If you Google him, he'll come up because there's not a lot of Icelandic artists named Ragnar. Yeah. But he had this piece. My wife and I were in Cleveland for a friend's wedding. This is like over 10 years ago, and we went to there was a museum of modern art there, and we were like, we'll stop in and like just go to the museum. We had the day off, so just walking around, and like we got into this big room, and there were like 9 or 10 like screens, like projectors up, and we're like, what's going on in here? It's this piece. It's called The Visitors. Okay, I do know that. That's awesome. And so I watched. He has a whole on his website, like a whole documentary, kind of like I don't know what you'd call it. It's like not a retrospective of his life because he's still alive. He just walks through all of his art history. Okay. But this piece was so cool because they rented out this mansion in like upstate New York, and like there's like 10 different musicians, and they're all in a different room of the house, and they're all playing the same song, but they're like separate.
I've heard
But
of
like,
this. Okay.
but then you're like, the piece went around the US, like, this was like 10 years ago. I don't know where it is now. It could be in like San Francisco or something, but I just remember seeing that, and I was just like, because as a musician, or more as a musician, I was just like, wow. I was like, this is like really, really cool.
It's like crossing bridges and stuff, or bridging gaps.
Yeah, and because it's just like, it was like kind of this, it was an art piece, but it was like music, and it was just like, I'd never seen anything like that before, and that just like, I remember that blew my mind. I was just like, this is the coolest thing. He's a very interesting artist. Again, I don't know what you call it. He walks through his like whole like art history, like the early pieces. That's his, like, I think his most popular, and then some of his later stuff. Because he's only like late 40s or something. He's not like super old or anything, but interesting guy.
Super cool. Yeah, I'll try to remember to put that in there.
Well, and in that piece, I literally watched that like 2 weeks ago. And he talks about this piece is a Russian painter or Ukrainian painter, Ukrainian-Russian, forget the exact origin, but Illya Repin, or I think is the painter's name. He has this painting. It's insane. It's like, I saw it, and like literally for the first time like a week ago. I think it's like his most famous painting. It's I think it's Ivan the Terrible and his son, and I won't spoil it, but if you go look at it, it is like it's the most like intense painting I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And this was like a week ago, and I was like, oh my god, this painting.
All right.
I'm pretty sure it's Ivan the Terrible and his son.
Okay.
And his son Ivan, I think, is what it's called. And if you watch the piece on his website, he has this whole like dialogue about like why he has like a whole super. And anyways, all this is to say that like, yes, these that piece I like just saw, and I was just like, wow, I was blown away by it. And his earlier work, I was just like, just very like captivated by. And I mean, I've seen paintings, obviously, other artwork before that I've clearly been like, oh, this is great, but like that kind of stuff like really stuck with me. That's or awesome, I think will.
Yeah. Dude, I gotta check this out. They sound great. I love Russian paintings. Yeah. Like it's something, for whatever reason, they don't get talked about that much in like the canon of art history and they were next level.
I've heard good. I feel like I've heard his name. It was like Repin. Repin is his last name.
Okay.
I think it's Illya Repin.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard it, but I don't know. It's just like, you'll see that painting. It's pretty, and it did this history behind the painting. It's wild. I won't spoil anything because it is just like it's only like 100-year-old, maybe 120-year-old painting or something, but like it's just crazy. So
this guys, I don't.
Yeah. And
I don't know how these people. Yeah, Russian painters are like, seriously. I mean next level. Like, you go look, they do this like, it's like hyper realism before cameras. Yeah. And I don't know how they were accomplishing this stuff, but they were good.
A couple months ago, my wife and I were in Europe for like I would just shoot a wedding.
Nice.
But we like piggybacked on top of that, and we did like an anniversary trip, and we went to like a gajillion museums in London and Paris, and I got to see, obviously I know who Rembrandt is, but like I don't know if I'd ever seen one of his paintings like close up, and like I remember and this was like literally like 3 months ago, and I like was like literally like like a foot from it, and just like I was just like blown away by just like just everything about it, like the composition and the lighting, and like I was like, how does he paint? Like there was the skin on some of these people was just like, I was like, how is that not a photograph?
Yeah. Rembrandt, he, if I remember correctly, was like known for like dozens of layers with a very like transparent. It's not unique to him at all, but the depth that he accomplished with it.
I'm sure someone could be like Rembrandt, that's so basic, but like it's just like dude, like
Yeah.
like you said, like it's not like he's, doing anything new, but like it was just, I think for me, it's like, and I definitely am not trying to compare myself to any of these people, but like, that style that he paints in, it's like, that's how I like, I sort of was like, oh wow, I like to shoot photos and like on the darker side, like on the higher contrast of like the darks and the light, and like I just like that, and I think maybe that's why I gravitate toward that style of like, painters and things. It's just like the way I like to see. I don't know. I don't know.
That's so cool. That's
Definitely
so
not.
interesting.
No comparisons here. But I would, maybe that's, yeah. I don't know.
I think that's
Anyhow.
cool though, that like that stood out to you, like that you. So when you look at artwork, uh, do
Like
you
there's that
think about
style,
things
like
like that of like as far as like
I
just comparing it to photography? It's like, oh, okay, so the lighting in this scenario was
yeah.
this and that type of thing.
Yeah, I definitely, and that's the thing I really like about, I think, film and or photo, video, and any of that is just like lighting is always just like super. It's just like, obviously that's maybe the most important part of it, aside from like composition, but like, like studying lighting is just so important, and because I mean, it just tells everything. Like,
Yeah.
you could go to have like a great composition, but if you're, especially if you're taking a photo, if you're just not in the right spot with the lighting, I mean, you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just not gonna. It's just gonna be a photo. Like, it'll be okay. This is fine, but that's what's
Yeah.
like really separates, a good photo from like a great one, is just like, can you get yourself in the right spot to get the lighting the way you want it, with the composition, and that doesn't always work out. A lot of times you're just like, could have been better, or like, you blow focus and you're like, I
Yeah.
like, you had it was there, and you're like, I screwed that up, and you're like, oh no, which is a bad feeling, but
Oh. Well,
part of the process.
you're the only one that knows, so
Yeah, someone will
just
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
dude, man, this has been great. Okay, fun ones.
Okay.
What posters were on your wall? You were a music guy. Do you
What
have
posters are on my wall?
Hey, all right. Let's see.
I am literally in the process
Rage
of
Against
finish.
Slashing.
Yeah,
Nice.
I got two in there. That one down in the bottom corner here. Those are my oldest. I had those since
Nice.
I was like 12, 13, whatever year
Hold
Evil
on.
Empire came out.
Nice.
My
Okay.
brother was older than me, so he hooked those up. But you won't be able to see any of them. But like some of them's album art from band Misery Signals, Cursive. I don't know if you listen to.
Oh my gosh, I love both of them.
Yeah,
When did I think I saw them? Not Cursive, but Misery Signal.
Misery Signals. Yeah. I
When
I
did
love them.
Cursive, yeah, they did Art is Hard.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
their, the one on
Is it the Ugly Organ?
I don't know the album name. So this
Okay.
is I find new artists through playlists. So
That's yeah.
like the old Punkorama albums or whatever. I would get those and be like, oh, who's this band? That sounds pretty cool. And
Yeah, dude,
I'd go listen
Cursive
to
is fantastic.
They're
We
cool.
just saw them my wife and I saw them so many times in like the early 2000s. We have seen Cursive, I mean, like 20, 30 times. We just saw them last year. They did an anniversary for, I think it was the Ugly Organ, was like 20. Forget how old that is, or maybe they were doing a different one. But we saw that, and it was just so cool. They sound they're such a good band. They're so good live.
Yeah. They
but-
seem like they would be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they had
that's
their cellist with them. She was great. But yeah, I got loads of other flyers on that wall. Just like a lot of it's funny stuff. Like a lot of it's local shows. The stuff in the middle, the smaller black
That's
and white
cool.
ones, or like Saves the Day.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
yeah.
I've got
Yeah.
a Haste the Day shirt. Not
Oh,
really.
Haste the Day. Yeah, Saves the Day.
So,
The
yeah.
yeah, Save the Day. Like there's like so many other, like, and it's some of it's funny because it's like you'll see a bill with like you know, like August Burns Red.
Hmm.
If you're into that style, like, I mean, I grew up playing with those guys in that scene, and like, it's just funny seeing them on a bill with like bands that don't even exist anymore, and the show's like
Yeah.
$6 or something, and there's like
Yeah.
7 bands, and you're
Dude,
like,
that's
it's cool. Like,
dude.
I love the
Frame
low.
that or make sure
Oh
you
yeah, yeah.
store that. That's
I got
dope.
loads of these guys, but yeah, a lot. Yeah, some of the posters are cool. They're like, you know, actual like shows I played or I put on, or just ones I went to, or something, or just a band I really like, or an artist. There's a guy, the one behind me here, this blue one. It's really impossible to see, but this artist is the same as this guy here. You can't see. It's just a moose.
Okay.
Aaron Horkey. I think he's like a Midwest guy. He's like a screen printer.
Okay.
Um, that artwork was for, I think it was Shades of the Swarm was the album, but the band was called ISIS, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they were like a post metal, like this band like Neurosis,
Yeah.
kind of
Okay.
defined that genre. But like ISIS was kind of like the after, and they were way before the whole, you know, terrorist organization. They
Yeah.
were,
Yeah.
and they just had an unfortunate name, and it was like, that sucks. I have so many ISIS band T-shirts, and I'm like, oh, I can't wear these anymore.
These are just going into storage. Yeah.
Yep, yep. But I still have the posters on my wall, so that's what they live. But
There's people I've met people named ISIS.
oh really?
Yeah, like my age too, and it's like,
Oh
oof.
wow. Oof, oof
Yeah.
is right.
But anyways, so
Yes,
would you
yes.
have played in any bands that I know, or like you played with like August Burns Red's huge, so
Yeah,
you
they're massive
played
now.
like with them or a
No
show with
one
them
you'd
or something.
probably
But
would have ever
okay,
heard of. The one band, there was a poster on there. I funny enough, August Burns Red. I almost played with those guys when they're. This was like ages ago, like 2007. Their bass player quit. I knew I you know, I played with those guys in the same scene long enough. I think I texted JB, who's the one guitar player, and I was like, it was like the summer. I was like on summer break before going back to college, and
yeah,
I saw the bass player quit, and I was like, "Are you guys looking for a bass player?" And he was just like, he's like, "Are you interested? Because like it'd be better because they didn't know anyone locally."
hmm
And this was like before they were like
yeah,
even remotely, like they weren't on the Warp Tour or anything. Like, they were still very new on like Solid State Records, I think. And it just, you know, long story short, it didn't work out just because like I had paid like deposits for like tuition and like my
hmm
apartment, and I was like, I'd have to break so many things to play in a band that I was like, they still weren't. I was like, I just can't do it, and like I wanted to, like if it had come up like 2 months before, even a
yeah,
month before, I would have been like, I'm just gonna do it,
yeah.
and that just didn't. Yeah, so but it
Well,
could have been cool. Could have been
it
cool,
could have
but
been. You could have been like,
could have been, but no.
could
So
have
yes,
been.
no one you'd probably
Yeah.
ever heard of. I played in a band briefly called Century. We had an album.
Okay.
We had a music video on MTV2, Headbangers Ball, but
Oh.
this was when Jamie Josta hosted from Hatebreed. You could look it up. It's called Black. The album's Black Ocean. The song is Black Ocean. Album's Black Ocean.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh, that's going.
This is
I'm
good.
throwing
That's
that
about as
on the notes.
yeah, about as cool as it gets.
Yeah,
Nothing too crazy.
that's just fun.
Unfortunately.
I came into the hardcore scene pretty like I just had a buddy through paintball who was started dragging me to shows. Like
That's great. It's great.
yeah, yeah. I
Shout
love
out your
him for
friend.
it. Yeah, Donnie, you're the man. Like
Yes.
he introduced me to like I said this on Dan's too, but like I kind of one day just out of the blue, like just called him and said, hey, "Thanks, man. Like you've given me like essentially like therapy, you know, like giving me songs that like I
Yes.
can that you know I've already talked about it, but like yeah,
No, it's true. That's
the,
music, man. It's
yeah,
powerful stuff. It's
yeah,
all kinds. I mean, I just listened to Phoebe Bridgers, and like that
okay,
some of her albums, like her newer ones, like are just I mean well, a lot of her work's fantastic. But like her new one, The Punisher, it was like 3 years ago, maybe 4. I don't even know.
okay,
But that one and the one before it, so good. And there's just like, yeah, it's just different kinds of stuff. Like then like, yeah, like metal hardcore does different stuff. Then
mm-hmm.
instrumental music, does folk. It's great. It's great. It's music.
Dude, just to geek out a little bit, so like the Spotify Wrapped came out or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Mine was, and it was because there's a weird like glitch on my school computer, but I'm not mad about it. But mine was the Me Without You, their EP.
Which one? Not A to B Life.
Bethlehem. No.
Oh, okay,
no.
okay.
Like the most recent EP.
Okay. Yeah.
Just like it's real, and it's not a typical, like you hear it and you're like, yeah, it makes sense, it's them, but it's not. It doesn't go into anything too crazy. Wow. It was just a like
Me Without You. I was just gonna say, dude, that poster on my wall. Wait, which one? That green one with the shaking the hands, in the corner. That's Norma Jean, Beloved, and Me Without You. That was a tour they did.
Shit. That
2000,
was
2002,
oh my gosh.
3? Yeah.
And that was.
Oh yeah, dude. Me Without You is from Philly. Like I got to see them. I got to see them a bunch. Same with Norma Jean, and that was like the Bless the Martyr. Because you went to I saw you went to Furnace Fest last year.
Yeah.
That lineup looked.
And the first one, or not the first one.
First.
The first.
Yeah.
One. Dude, and that's the same buddy who dragged me to this stuff.
Dude, Furnace. Yeah. Always wanted to go.
Bless the Martyr. I'm gonna keep geeking out because we're here.
Do it.
What is it? The first song from the get-go. I can't, like the world's in his hands and he's losing something like that.
Oh man,
can't remember the name. People are gonna hate me.
I'm looking it up because I wanna. No, don't even. Come on. Why? No one wants to listen to that. Where is it? Oh man, it's so old. Oh, 2002. That's not that old. The Entire World Is Counting on Me.
Yeah.
I gotta listen to this. I gotta like.
Right from the start, and then it does this little like what should be a chug, but there's a screech in there with I don't know how they do it, but like I know a little bit of guitar but what they did, I'm like, how does that sound even happen? And
dude, if I'm assuming you already know who or what Hate 56 is. Sonny, okay, do yourself a favor.
Okay.
Write it down. Hate, HATE 5, the number 5, and then 6, just spelled out. Mm-hmm. His name's Sonny Singh. He's probably like mid late 30s. He films. He's been filming, documenting metal, hardcore, all kinds of stuff. More than that for 15 years. He was like an archivist, documentarian. But, oh man, I just lost my whole train of thought.
Man.
Oh no.
856.
856. It was right before that. It was right before. That's right. You were talking about the guitar riff. So first off, if you want to find new music like that, he just live bands, like so many live performances. But he made this tool because he used to be a software developer, and then he just was like, I'm out of here. I'm not doing this anymore with my life. I'm going to do this. So he has a huge Patreon. That's how, like, he's self-funded through his Patreon. So he flies all over the country just filming random shows on like a Tuesday in Oklahoma because people are like, hey, go see this set. And he's like, okay. But he wrote this algorithm. You can go on his website. It's called Sage. I'm pretty sure it's called Sage. You can type in a band and it'll show you like a tree of like adjacent bands. So you can be like, I really like Norma Jean, and then it'll be like, oh, because you like Norma Jean, and it's a graph. It's not like a playlist or anything. Like, so you can be like, these are the artists that influenced them. These are ones that came after them. So you can dig like way back, because like bands like Coalesce, they like influenced Norma Jean. And then I forget who influenced like Coalesce, but like you can go and do these crazy like deep dives on and it's not just metal and hardcore. It's like, because he scraped like last.fm. That website used to track like artists and stuff and genres. So you can like type in, I think you can type in like anything, like the Beatles, and be like, I like the Beatles. Like, what else would I like? And it would just
Mhm.
suggest all this other stuff that's like adjacent to that genre. And it's such a powerful tool. I have no idea why it's not more popular. I mean, it probably, with AI stuff coming, like, yeah, I mean, that's basically what it was. But he's had this out for like 10 years plus. Like,
It's like a 23andMe for music.
it's just cool. So, anyways,
Yeah.
that's free for all your, free little tip.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
awesome. 856 by Sunny Singh.
Sunny Singh, yeah.
That's
Really cool dude. And it, he got to last summer. He got to go on tour with Rage Against the Machine and documented their whole tour. And I was like, I wasn't gonna go because I've never seen Rage in my life, and I've been a fan since I was like 10. And I was like, I had tickets in 2020 to go see them, and then obviously all the shows got canceled. And then I lost my tickets because it was a fest, and then I was like, their tour came around. I was like, oh, it's way too expensive to go. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And then I saw him on tour with them, and I was like, he kept posting stuff, and I was like, I need to go. I have to go because what if they never tour again? Yeah. And I shelled out the money, and I hated it. But like best performance. If you even remotely like Rage Against the Machine, that is like
just
you have to do it once. Like they are just
and the
phenomenal.
crowd's going to be a huge part of it too because
the crowd is it's insane. It was easily the best show I've ever been to. I mean, top 3 for sure, like no question. Wow. Energy, the band. So if you ever get the chance, because they might not, they're old. Zach busted up his ankle. Who knows? They might not. They're like in their 50s now. Like, and they're the kind of band that like, they don't tour just to make a buck. Like they tour. Mm-hmm. They were doing that obviously to fulfill their commitments to like their fans, like the fans who had tickets for like 3 years. But like they're not going to tour to just make money. They're going to tour to like something's happening. Like you could see it next year. I mean, next year's like a big pivotal like election year. Like that's what they thrive on is like politics and like getting people to go out and do stuff. And I don't know, to tumultuous times. That's like what they were built for. So you might see them again, and that's like the best time to see them too. Is like I would assume is like when they're pissed off, man. Like dude, their visuals. Oh my god, the visuals between songs was. You can go on YouTube and look up. Sunny has a few sets. There's ones from Madison Square Garden, just insane. Like just so. Dude. Yeah, if you like that band, that is totally worth watching.
I have never encountered someone who's like, nah, screw those guys. Like, like they're so.
Well, usually it's like the political stuff. They're like, I like the songs, but not the politics.
Yeah.
Usually is what gets people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, you've given me a lot right there. I'm excited about this. Okay.
Yeah.
Tokyo Police. I was gonna ask you for a playlist because in that zine I sent out, I got a playlist
from Dan, right?
From one of his movies. I just pulled it from his.
Okay.
From I can't remember anything from
a playlist, a mixtape. I could make you a mixtape, I guess.
Yeah, dude. I mean, pretty much. What was it called? I just gotta look at my.
Yes, the joy, dude. It's so. I was gonna post about it, and I was like, I'm gonna wait until. Do all this and.
Jawbreaker.
No, it's
couldn't remember
Jawbreaker.
The name.
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh. It's so good. And I didn't even get to do the QR codes yet for all the players. I was like flipping through, and I was like, oh man, I can't, because I like to go through something once, and then I go back, and then I just keep.
You want to hear how? Like I'm weird. I'm left-handed, so
That's
start
weird.
In the back with most magazines. I would start in the back.
Really?
Obviously, you get to something that's like a few pages. You gotta
go back. Wow.
But like, especially with the old magazines, that's how I would go through.
That's cool though.
Yeah, man. I've written down so I've got Tokyo Police Club, and I'll do the Black Ocean, Cursive, Misery Signals.
Misery Signals.
Dude, me now.
Yeah, Me Without You, anything from A to B Life. That album, wow. That is such a heavy. Dude, he starts singing in French in the middle of like the one song. I forget what song it is, but
he's such a cool dude. Like, I
Yeah.
listened to one of Emery's podcasts with him,
yeah,
and he doesn't own a phone, and he doesn't know how to
Still?
operate a phone. So he,
Oh
yeah, at the time, I mean, this was not.
Oh, okay.
This was maybe like, I mean, it was podcast time, so like
It's not that.
they were
long
on
ago.
tour though, so that should tell you something.
Mm,
But
okay.
he like did the interview and then just like set the phone down, but didn't hang up or anything. Didn't know how to, so just set the phone. There were like 20 minutes of them just like, I wonder if he's still there. We'll see.
That's
We'll let it
so
go.
good.
And he's
So
that's such a
good.
cool band. Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife introduced me to them, so that was
Oh, they're
that's,
yeah.
yeah.
They're
That's when I knew.
they're great. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If I can make a suggestion, a request, if
Yeah.
you do pick any Rage, please pick from Self-Titled or Evil Empire.
Okay.
Please. Nothing.
If
from,
you want, like, I don't.
Battle.
If you need a break, you mentioned sort of just a like burnout earlier. If you're like,
Oh,
I need a little break. So if you want to just like curate it and send it to me, I'm down for that.
more
But-
than yeah. I'll send. I have I'm a weirdo. I switched over to Tidal instead of Spotify.
Okay.
I used to use Spotify, and like supposedly Tidal pays their artists better than
Oh, cool.
Spotify does. And if you pay, like, obviously if you pay enough or whatever, you can literally be like, I'm paying $20 a month and I want this $10 to go to this artist or whatever. Like you can
Oh.
literally, so supposedly they pay better. I think it's like owned by like Jay-Z and like some other people. So it's not like a small indie, like,
Mhm. Yeah, I
app
see
or anything.
Taylor Swift on here, so they're
Yeah, it's gotten
Travis Scott,
better.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
I
they
think
got-
that's their thing is they pay their and you if you're really into music, I think you can get access to like the masters of the
Ooh.
songs. So obviously you probably have to have like an audio setup that's like conducive to like in actually being able to tell the difference, which I doubt I could. I don't have an ear like that, but anyways, so yes, I will go through my playlist. I have, I can send like a good 10 tracks. There's some great, I've got some good ones that'll span like the 90s to the, the teens and the
Dude,
aughts.
I'm
And
excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's make it. Yeah.
because my travel playlist is quite like it is all over the place. It is. I listen to a lot of different stuff, but not anything that's like too obscure,
Yeah.
but like just what it's all over the place.
That's awesome.
So
I have a buddy who, he does every year. It's like a mixtape essentially, but it's all killer, no filler of his year.
yes,
And
awesome.
His is pretty eclectic because it's not music that we listen to, but like anytime I can get a song in there and like I feel like I've accomplished something.
You've done it.
I'm like,
I've done it.
Yes.
Yes.
I introduced him like, do you know Idols?
Yes, dude. Yes. What is that? I have them on here. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes, but yes, I know.
Never fight a man with a perm. I think is the.
Oh, I think that's the track. Maybe that's like their track. I'm like over here talking about like.
That
Idols,
one made
yes.
it, and man,
Never fight a man with a perm. Yes, absolutely. I have that saved.
that whole.
I think I was
album
actually
is-
going to use that for like a. Yes.
Dude,
Oh, yes.
I want to see them so bad. They're coming in. Anyway, sorry, dude.
You could go down the rabbit hole talking about music.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap it up with a paintball question.
Okay.
So I
Bring it
should have
back.
told you this one, but like I guess it's sort of in spirit of the title of the podcast, the joy of
Yes,
paintball.
The joy.
As a media guy,
Yes.
what is the joy of paintball for you?
It's. I mean, it's like there's multiple things. Like a lot of it is because I don't have like I'm jealous of the people that have like a very like tight knit or very cool like local field like 10 minutes away. Like I used to have that. I'm like 2 hours from hour and a half from like the closest field, so I'm not going to hang out. So like going to the NXL, like any of these events, it's like, and I've been doing it for long enough now that like it's just like, you know, you get to see the people like a handful of times a year, and like, you know, it's just such a cool like experience. I mean, that's like kind of like the personal, like, oh, like the joy of just like seeing all these people you see literally 5, 6, 7 times a year. But like, yeah, on like on an actual creative level, like, man, it's like, it's especially like this past year was very cool. Like I actually, yeah, it was kind of crazy last year after, so I was 22. Yeah, World Cup 22. I wasn't sure if I was going to even still shoot like paintball, just because I was like, my sister that I was working with, she was moving on to some other stuff, and I was like, I almost took a job with this other company, like production company in the area, but like it was like they said it was like more flexible, but like once we got into the bones or the meat of it, it was like, this is like a 9 to 5. Like I'm not gonna have time off. Like I can't shoot paintball. So I literally was like, they offered me the job, and I was like, oh crap, now I have to decide. And I was like, I can either have like, you know, a somewhat creative job, or like, and there would have been no time off for paintball, like at all. Yeah. And I was just like, I'm gonna roll the dice and just say, no, I don't want this nice, and I mean, it wasn't an amazing job. It was a good job, but I was just like, I'm just gonna say no, and I'm gonna just roll the dice and plan it. I've known those guys for a while, and I sort of explained the situation. And I was like, let's do some stuff, you know. And they were like, okay, well, we've got some things going on. Like, let's make something happen. And the joy of like getting to, you know, like be like, I want to do this specific project, and like just seeing that, like to go to like, you know, to put it on paper and to go film it and then like produce it and then like put it out there and then people see it and then like, you know, people hopefully enjoy it, is like, that's like, like it's just, and there's just so like there's so much like, and even like being at the events, like in the pits, and like seeing like people, and like when there's a really good match, like especially like when you like, you know, if you get to like, and this happens on like the divisional fields too, like if you follow a team and you know, like you're with them all weekend, and like even if you're like pitting with them, like you're not even creatively with, like you're just there, like it's just you're along with the journey, and like, you know, if they're winning and they're moving on, like you get invested, and like the Tauntauns, man, like I was with them. Well, I was with them the week before Cup. They flew in to practice in Tampa, and I flew in and I stayed with them for the weekend and went to a practice and did some interviews and stuff. So I was with them like before the event, and then like, man, that last match against Dynasty, like that was just like, that was like heartbreaking. Like they were just like, they were like distraught, and like, and you could really like, you just feel that. And not that that's like, it's not like a joyful thing, but it's like just that, you know, being like a part of that is just, for me, it's just like, it's cool. Like, you know, when I tell people like, oh, like, you know, sheepishly be like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I film paintball. And then they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, professional paintball. And it's just like, that's like the stuff that like I can't convey to people in a, you know, a quick thing, is like just being a part of that. Like it's just, there's just something this special about that like you're not going to get that like in, or I mean, you can get that in other places, but like it's hard to find. Like it's, I don't know. So dude, like and then getting to top it all off, not to cut you off, but just like someone paying you to do all of that is like, it's just like, there's nothing better. I mean, that's it. Yeah. Like I'm good. Like, and I'm not saying like, I'm not, you know, I'm not like a millionaire like over here. Like I'm fine. Like I can survive. It's okay. Yeah. Like, but like getting to do what you want to do, and like, it's hard to put a price on that. It's like, I don't know. It's great. Like, so I'm just grateful for the people that have given me chances along the way to do this. It's just so cool. So hopefully it keeps going and gets bigger, and more people can, you know, cause like what you're doing with like the art, like no one's doing stuff like that. And we need things like that isn't all like, you know, like we talked about with the vertical videos, like we need that, like people posting that, like we need everything. We need that. We need actual art, like, you know, magazines. We need just stuff. Like if you think it's cool, someone will think it's cool. Like, and you don't know what connects with, like the stuff I make, people might not like, and that's fine. Like it's art, it's subjective, it's, you know, but they might like, they might love the vertical stuff that, you know, anyone does. And you're like, great, cool. If that's what you like, great. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever works. I don't know.
Yeah. Dude, that's, no, that's amazing.
Long-winded answers only
no,
here.
That's great. That's great. We don't get, again, this is your, you know, your one time on the other side of the camera. So
yeah, right.
there you go.
The once in, I think that last time was like
first time.
First time in a long time. A long time. Yeah, a long time.
Do you play ever?
You know, I got the itch this year. Actually, weirdly watching the ICPL, the 10-man stuff. There's just something about, you know, playing in the woods and like hyperball. It's like, I like X-ball. I like shooting X-ball, but I want to play the 10-man. That looks fun. That's like a total blast. But I gotta get a whole setup. I don't have any. I've got the soft goods, but the hard, no. I need a marker. I need a tank that's in hydro. So
yeah. I'm literally like, I've been trying to trade artwork for it. I was like, that'd be cool if you could.
Yeah.
Trade some stuff. So I traded. I have a gun now, but I need to get a tank. And it's like, or a hopper too. Yeah. So it's all that stuff. But I will say, like, if you gotta, I can't stress this enough, because if you've played tournament paintball and you like the Tin Man, it's not in the woods, but it's a lot of fun. It's the Mech X Ball.
Oh,
like if you for whatever reason find your way out to fit and that event's happening, it is the most fun because you're playing X Ball and you have like it's like 3 lines and you I mean, if you haven't played tournament you know,
that looks so cool.
It's so
I've seen it. Yeah, like that, like especially what all of what Fit's doing is just awesome. That field looks bonkers.
Did you see the
night ball?
But the night ball with the
glow in the dark.
Lights.
Oh my god, that was so
like,
genius.
Are we in Avatar right now? Like, what is happening?
Whoever put that, bravo. That was so cool. They're that field, and it's like I'm so jealous of the guys at like Verbal. And how far are you from Fit?
About an hour.
Okay. So you're
over
like
an hour. Not convenient.
It's not convenient.
You know,
it's a day. It's a day of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so,
still,
I go
like
out there for the big like elite or the pro tour and every now and then I'll play with some buddies, but it's that mech. I've seen that. I would like to first I got to get the setup and then I got to get some reps. Well, they'll let you rent stuff.
Oh
like,
yeah,
and it's like a I mean, it's nice. It's all mech, so
and that's why the 10-man stuff's cool. It's like there's guys shooting like cockers and like all kinds of old stuff, but then there's like you can just rock up with like was it like the Emex or I don't even know, like the Ethas. They're like $160 or something. Like they're cheap. Like you don't need like, and you probably even get away with like a Revy hopper and like a small tank, like because you're not going to shoot like 16 pods with that. And maybe, mech, but so probably not.
Pretty efficient.
Yeah. It's so cool. But yeah. Maybe one of these days we'll get there.
If you do, let me know, and I'll.
Yes, if I find my way to Fit, I will absolutely let you know.
Yeah.
And shout out, I see there's a couple of photos on the wall I recognize. I got the Tim Montresor 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Cornell.
See if I can. Ooh, yep.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
Yes. I know. I recognize those.
Yeah. Let's see if I can.
Oh yeah.
Dude, those were so dope. Like, I've won a few things as far as like through the raffles or whatever. And every time it's so cool. Like the Cornell, I was not expecting, but that was a cool deal, man. I miss it. That was
Well, hey, you'll have to next. I think they're going to Dallas next year. I
Yeah.
don't know how far Dallas is for.
That's I live. I don't know if you're familiar. I live in Fort Worth, so I'm.
Oh,
It's
oh,
not
oh.
far.
Yeah,
It's.
yeah.
I'll make it for sure.
I don't know if they. Yeah, I don't remember if they have the venue, but I'm pretty sure we're going to Dallas. I don't think we're going back to Austin.
They're yeah. They advertised it as Dallas, so I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't love the Motor Speedway setup. I don't know if you ever went when they had it there.
Yeah, I went once.
It was okay. Not
Yeah.
my favorite, but
Yeah, I don't know how
whatever.
people were like cool playing on that and like pitching a fit about Philly, like the ground. in
Philly's
Texas
good
was-
now. I mean,
Yeah.
like the first year,
But it was.
I didn't go, but it looked the Great Dust Bowl,
It made for great
Farmville.
photos.
Oh,
Yeah.
the photos are so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to.
All right, man. Well, you've
Yes,
like
talk
thank
your ear
you
off.
so much. No, like you've given me a lot of great stuff. So
Did.
thank you so much. Is there before we hop off? Is there anything like you want to sort of push? Like I know you got the grand finale coming out.
Yeah, that's probably sometime it's January 5th to the 10th, somewhere in there. They'll probably have it out on YouTube or something. Probably Go Sports.
Okay.
That's coming out. There's a piece that I'll be working on for the Tauntauns Planet. I don't know when that's going to be a work in progress. And then I've got some other ideas like for things that I might put together between now and the start of the season, but again, a lot of that's just like time and energy and digging, putting all the pieces together. I have something I want to do, but I just don't know if I'll be able to get it together. So if I do, I will let you know. I'll send you the sneak peek. You can check it out and see if it's any. Let me know. But thank you very much for asking me to do this. It's cool.
Thanks for doing it, man.
I love what you're doing. I love the zine. Keep doing all of that. Like we need more actual
Thanks, man.
more creative, just different stuff. Like it's great. I love to see it. It's
Just
and
trying to
it's
keep up with you guys.
hell no. You're doing your own thing and it's great because we don't. I mean, there's no one else doing anything like that. And like I said, it's just someone else might see that and be like, wow, I just love that. Like, and that's what like hooks them. Or where they hear like one of the sound bites or they read an article and like or like a little interview and that's it, like so keep doing it, keep making cool stuff and yeah, that's it. Just keep doing it. Keep doing the thing.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
but thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for
Yeah.
having me and chatting. This has been great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, man. Until
All right.
next time.
All right,
Thanks.
peace.